Okay, quick show of hands. Who here has actually scaled their AI agents? Like real production, running the business, not a demo that dies on a Tuesday afternoon. Anybody? Anybody at all?
I suspect the room just went very, very quiet, Banana, and that silence is the story.
Because a brand new Deloitte survey of 501 senior business leaders just dropped, and it is humbling. Only 15% of organizations have reached what Deloitte calls scaled, orchestrated, multi-agent deployment.
Meanwhile, 42% are still testing small numbers of agents, and 43% are expanding across functions. So we're past the pilot phase, but we are nowhere near the agentic enterprise. Today, we're digging into why that gap exists and what Deloitte says it takes to actually close it.
Right, so let's set the stage. This is Deloitte's latest pulse on agentic AI, reported by Vala Afar over at ZDNet this week. 501 senior leaders who actually drive their company's AI strategies. So this isn't vibes, it's the people writing the checks.
And the headline finding is that most organizations simply lack an executable, integrated roadmap for agentic AI. It's not a shortage of ambition, it's a shortage of clarity about what an agent-first business actually looks like.
Nearly 2/3 of these leaders say they're reevaluating their entire business model because of advances in agentic AI. And yet, only about half say they have a clear view of their future operating model. So basically, everyone knows the train is coming. Very few people know what station they're getting off at.
A very expensive game of musical chairs, in other words. Deep dive.
Let's talk about the barriers, because they're brutally consistent. 72% of leaders point to the lack of a unified, accessible data foundation. 70% say they can't trust and govern agents well enough. 67% are staring at the cost and complexity of integration. Those three numbers tell you exactly where the agentic transition actually stalls: data, trust, and plumbing.
And the readiness numbers are arguably worse. Only 36% of organizations say their vision and strategy are ready, 34% for technology infrastructure, 32% for the data foundation, 26% for risk, security, and governance. And here's the kicker: only 1 in 5 businesses says its workforce is ready for agentic AI.
1 in 5, which is insane when you think about what's coming. Deloitte asked leaders what their processes look like by 2030. 74% expected nearly half of all business processes will be redesigned or rebuilt around agents. 61% believe most of their processes will be powered by agents that are largely autonomous, running with little to no human involvement.
And yet today, only 16% say their current processes are prepared for that. There's a massive expectation gap. Leaders can see the destination, they just can't see the path.
And here's a fun one. Only 31% of businesses expect to redesign their processes around agents by 2028, but 74% expect to do it by 2030. So everybody is planning to do the work in the last 2 years of the decade, which, spoiler alert, is not how big transformations work.
Deloitte is also refreshingly honest about the workforce angle. 43% of leaders anticipate major job disruption as routine and structured tasks get automated away. But at the same time, 71% are working on baseline AI agent literacy, and 65% are building upskilling and reskilling programs for affected roles.
So the disruption is acknowledged and the response is underway, but half of leaders admit their organizations are not investing enough in workforce transformation. And there's a new cost pressure nobody budgeted for: the cost of training people and the cost of the tokens themselves. Agentic AI doesn't just need reskilling budgets, it needs infrastructure budgets, data budgets, and a line item for every API call your agents make.
Which is why Deloitte's framing is so useful. They argue that becoming an agentic enterprise is less about technology transformation and more about relational transformation. It's about how humans and agents relate to each other, how work gets divided between them, and how the organization rethinks its operating model rather than bolting agents onto legacy processes.
Exactly, and that layering point matters. Deloitte says layering AI onto existing processes can work as a bridge, but it should never be the destination. Process redesign has to become a muscle. You practice it, you build it, and you keep strengthening it as you move toward autonomy. Key takeaways. Okay, takeaways. Number 1, if you're stuck at pilot stage, you're in the majority. 42% of companies are right there with you.
The gap to scale deployment is data, governance, and integration. Fix those three and you're ahead of the curve.
Number 2, start the process redesign now. The 2028 versus 2030 gap is the single most dangerous number in this survey. Transformation doesn't compress into a 2-year sprint. The organizations that begin redesigning workflows today will be the ones operating autonomously in 2030.
And number 3, invest in people like your business depends on it, because it does. 1 in 5 workforces are ready. AI literacy programs, reskilling, redeploying people to less repetitive work, that's not a soft HR initiative. It's the difference between agents that amplify your people and agents that alienate them.
Deloitte's last point is the one to remember. The future operating model isn't humans or agents. It's a human and agent operating model, designed on purpose, with new metrics like tokens consumed per unit of work, and a leadership team that treats autonomy as a strategy, not a side effect.
That's the show. If you're leading an agentic AI rollout, ask yourself one question tonight. Is my workforce ready, or just my roadmap?
And if you're not sure, that's exactly why we do this every morning. See you tomorrow.
Same fruit time, same fruit channel. Later.